morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, brothers and sisters all over the world. Kakas and dadas and kakas. Habari za Sabui, Habari za Mchana, Habari za Jioni, brothers and sisters. All right. I'm back. The name of this channel is The African Times, and I'm Thomas. Okay, everybody, yesterday, it was a full day. It was a rough one. I was exhausted last night when I came in. I was exhausted. But today is another day. The sun has risen. The sun has risen. The sun, that ball of fire, it is risen. And okay, all right, it has arisen. All right. Yeah, I had a little phone call that broke the feed, so I had to pop out, like Jackie's Journey to Africa says, and I'm popping back in, okay? So today I'm going to start giving you guys kind of updates on, I'm going to try to do it daily, get up in the morning and say, hey, look, this is what's going on, this is what we're trying to do. Remember, it's showing you a chronicle of what we're doing so that you understand the challenges that we go through, the victories, the things that we don't do as well that we can do better. We want to make sure you have that as a record so that if you come, you can do things easier and better than we did for many generations. Africa is it. This is where we're going to be able to survive. This is where we're going to be able to take care of ourselves. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. We've been on a journey to look for a place, a headquarters, so that we can do our business. And that means we have to be stable in order to do that. We face some challenges, and I'm going to go into more detail about that at a different day. But just to kind of give you an idea, all of you need to be aware that the things we face, our mentality, the things we face as a people are impacted by psychological warfare, okay? And I have to just tell it to you like that because that's what it is. There is no other way to describe it because that's what it is. Now, I know that many of us, people that look like you and me, don't really want to accept this reality. Want to believe that it's something else. I did a video the other day about the individual who is committing these heinous acts against our people. It's the individual. But over 1,000 years, there are many individuals. That means it's no longer an individual. Okay? So anyone who is disputing that is just delusional. It's fact. Okay? So I'm telling you that because the psychological warfare being waged against us is the same psychological warfare being waged against others who don't look like us. But just as in all wars, conflicts between individuals or groups, organizations, both public and private, there are agendas on both sides, on all sides. And when you have an agenda, meaning you have a particular thing that you're trying to accomplish, right? You have that, then you have to implement ideology, ideas, concepts. You have to put those into play to achieve what you're trying to achieve. Now, there are a group of people, as you know, they don't look like you and me. W's. Their agenda is to maintain dominance and control. You hear the terms empire. Empire doesn't mean you want to dominate and control your house, your personal house where you and your family live. You already control that to a certain extent. Empire means globally. In other words, you want to leave the space where you are. You want to go out, abroad, away. And then you want to impose your agenda on others who are away from where you live. Okay? Now, remember I said psychological. Well, if you go out abroad to an area and there are more people who don't look like you, if there are more of them than you, then your use of power, your use of force may be limited. And there are other factors limiting your use of power and force. There's a cost, there's an economic cost. I told you, everything comes back down to economics. There's an economic cost to use force, power, to wage war. So, in your strategy as a group seeking to wage war, you implement various tactics, various strategies, one of which is psychological warfare. Other words, propaganda, education, socialization, to politicize a particular thing. All of those are tactics and strategies of warfare. An effort to gain. Okay, sorry about that. I had to change. To a different day because phone calls kept coming through and I couldn't complete the video. But what I was saying is psychological warfare is used in those ways that I just mentioned to gain an advantage over a group of people. And that psychological warfare is not just between nations and individuals. That psychological warfare is also inflicted on groups of people, individuals who may or may not be a part of a nation, but who are unaware that they are part of a nation. And that's where we find ourselves. A nation of people scattered abroad throughout the world, unaware, because of the propaganda, that we're one people. And colonies of us have been moved around the world throughout history to perform work for other people. And the psychological warfare is the education, the political system, the socialization to prevent us from knowing that we are at war and being attacked. And you can only do that with psychological warfare, to convince the people. The reason it affects us individually and as small groups of people is because we are individual people trying to work economically with one another. Hey, Thomas. Okay. All right, let me finish. I love you too, babe.
Hey, honey.
I love you, babe. Hold on. Thank you. You guys wait there for Mama. But what's happening as individuals is what's happening as individuals is that the warfare, the psychological warfare, is working on us in such a way that we don't know who we are. We believe that we're different people. We've assumed the identity of other people. We've taken those other people's morals and values and ideas and concepts, and we're trying to apply those to our lives. Well, keep in mind, if those people whose identity we are taking on, if those people, if their identity and their ideology and their philosophy and their whole outlook and approach towards things, their concepts of living are anti-black, against us, then we begin to now impose those same concepts and strategies against ourselves to our own detriment. And this is what is happening. And this is what is happening, unfortunately, all over the globe, wherever we find ourselves. We find ourselves doing these things and believing that these things are good things, but we're doing them to ourselves. You understand? And that's making it hard for us to conduct economic activity with one another, because we're applying capitalistic views, European views, Western concepts and ideologies. These concepts and ideologies aren't even working for them. You see, their economy is struggling. You have to understand and accept some reality. You know, the Western imperial machine is collapsing. It's over. And it takes time. So this isn't going to be tomorrow. It's not going to be next week. This takes time. They know it. They've seen empires crumble and kind of change itself into something else. And they'll keep trying until it's finally over. And this is where we find ourselves. So everyone, keep your Black African mind and identity about yourself. Keep that. Come together. Talk economically, how you can work together and strategize. The capitalist way of one person benefiting, getting rich and becoming great, and everybody else struggling and all of it, that's not going to help us. That'll help them, because they've already put their system in place and so they already have the power. So you can come to people and you can say, we're here to help you, we're here to do good, we can do all this for you. And because your system is in place, you can say free trade and let us come and trade, but we have nothing on our end at this point that we're in control of to take back to them and say, no, we'll trade with you, but you got to take this, you got to take that, you got to take that, because they're just going to tell you no. That's what they do, okay? So I just had to kind of get into that, and because I kept getting interrupted, I couldn't go into it in the thorough manner in which I want. I'm going to revisit it and go a little bit more in detail, but I had to let you guys know. Ultimately, there's a set of principles and ideas that are being given to our people that are not ours, that have altered our identity and our beliefs of how to interact with each other economically, so that we don't want to do it. And when we try to do it, we fail, because these people have us operating with their point of view and their perspective and their ideology. It's in their television, it's in their media, it's in their newspapers, it's in their magazines, it's even in the school system, okay? It's in the political nature of things. I had some time, I was in Puerto Rico many years ago. And in Puerto Rico, it was sad to see. It was like, you got brothers that look like me and you, yeah, but they're Puerto Rican, so they speak a different language. Those brothers, they were being pushed to a certain social level. And the brothers that didn't look like me, you hear people say fair, or, they kind of had the appearance of the W. They were being elevated and promoted. And we see that. We saw that through slavery and history. We saw that. So I'm not saying anything bad against my people. I love them. Many of them probably African people. So please understand what I'm saying. I love you all. We're going to have more of these talks, because we have to figure out this is our economic problem that we have to solve. We have to recognize that problem, be honest with one another. And then when we deal with this problem, we got to deal with it in a way that solves our problem, so we can make sure that our children have a positive future. I love you all. I'll be talking to you soon. Ooh, hooroo. Ooh, hooroo. Ooh, hooroo.